What is going on, everybody? We're here. We're live for the Wednesday stream. We started right at 7 o'clock. Okay, so I don't want to see late in the chat. I don't want to see all this. You're late, you're late, you're late. No, we were right on time. Okay, we were right on time. Y'all are just, you got slow internet. Not my fault. Not my problem. You need to upgrade your service. You probably got Spectrum like me. That's probably the honest answer. You know what really pisses me off? You know what bothers me? That this is basically in like the neighborhood I live, because the way it works here in Florida is you're pretty much limited to whatever, like you can't just get whatever wherever you want. Based on whatever neighborhood you might be, there's some agreement with some internet providers, blah, blah, blah. So you can't get Comcast everywhere. You can't get Verizon everywhere. It's going to depend on where you're at. For me, all I can get is Spectrum. And what pisses me off is when I go to a random ass hotel and I get a better upload speed at that hotel than I have at home hardwired in with like the best plan Spectrum can give me. That pisses me off. I mean, it's nice when I'm traveling to have good internet, but it pisses me off that even that internet ends up being better than my own, which is ridiculous. On time is 5 minutes late in the army. Well, yeah, that's what they say. Ugh, on time is early. Fuck or whatever. Early is on time is late. Yeah, fuck that. I spent 11 years in the Navy. Well, 11 years and like 2 weeks. I don't need to fucking operate by those rules anymore. You know when I'm late? When I fucking say I'm late. If I'm 5 minutes late, I'm late. If I'm 5 minutes late, I'm late. That's how it works. That's my fucking rule. I also don't have to shave every day. There's a lot of things. My hair couldn't be this tall if I was in the military. So, when is the Vegas meetup? The Vegas meetup is August 5th. 2 weeks and 1 day from now. In 2 weeks, I will be in Las Vegas getting ready for the meetup. So yeah. Yeah. So that's when the Vegas meetup is. I mean, I think that everything's all filled up though for it. I mean, we did the RSVP for that like weeks ago. So I think it's probably full. I'm sure there's a wait list. And look, there's going to be people that end up not being able to go for whatever reason or back out of the last second. That's going to happen. So feel free to join the wait list. I don't really know where that, I don't really know where I can find you the information on that, if I'm being honest. I don't know. You should grow your hair out, says Bill Walker. No, I should not. Nobody wants to see that. Isn't it the 6th? Oh, maybe it is the 6th. Maybe I'm flying on the 5th and the meetup's the 6th. Yeah, that might be true. I might be lying. Ryan's, hold on. Beardo says he's going to Japan. Or he was copying me? They don't want him there. What do you mean? What do you mean? Well, that's cool though. But no, my hair, it's too thick. Like, I don't think you guys understand, right? There's a lot of volume to this. And all you guys that are like, Ryan, Prada, bro, there's barely anything. My hair's just fucking thick. So if I grow it out, it's not going to be freaking long and like, you know, it's not going to hang like a woman's hair does. I don't have female hair. I have a man's hair. It's fucking thick and luxurious. So it's not going to grow like down. It's going to grow like out, you know? Nobody wants that. All right now, I think it's okay. It's fine. It'll flip around a little bit during the stream. The Batman looks like part of the hair. Look at that. Like if I do that, you mean? Maybe the lighting was slightly different. You'd be able to tell. It'll go down gravity. I had my hair long. If you guys saw pictures of me in high school, you'd know. You would know. Redbird. Hey, Ryan, it's my birthday. Let's go. Happy birthday, Redbird. Redbird, today you are officially one day closer to the sweet release of death. Happy birthday, brother. I assume you're a man. Thank you. Not that no women watch the stream, but it's a very good chance. It's a very good chance that you're a man. Happy birthday. Yes. Who do we have? Let's say hi to the people in the chat. I see Anthony Wayne. I see Luna. I see the lovely Sherry. Sherry, thank God, changed your profile picture from the feet, whatever was going on there. Luckfield, My Creative Arsenal, Air, 2D Empire, Elitis, Filthy Casual, Jacoby Monsoon. Sounds like a wrestling name or something. Tiger King, Rex Carter, really big Z6R. Godzilla, Ranger, Health Minister of Belgium, Venus, Naruto the Seventh. Who else? WMS, SB88, Vince Barter. Hello, Vince Barter. Gnomeski, Cleveland Brown, Lord Thoth, LL Cool Aid, Film Nazi, Dr. Joanne Krause, PhD, King Oblivion, Destroyer to all trolls. What's up, everybody? What's up, everyone? We have 3 Toho milestone anniversaries coming up. Woo! God, Godzilla fans eating good. I did see that Godzilla actress passed away in a car accident or something like that. I saw a bunch of people, like a name I've never heard of in my life. But I guess she was like the little girl from Godzilla Kong, Godzilla X Kong, whatever that one was. So that sucks. That's not fun. That's not fun. Ryan is a hater. Been here before. 6 no high, and I bought a comic book because of him. Hate it here. I didn't see you, Nichols. Hello, Nichols. Oh, Nichols is in the chat. Nichols is in the chat. What's up, Nichols? Does that make you feel better? Does that give you a special appreciation factor right there? Yeah, I just saw Scott Herman today. He signed the person who won last week, so I got to get that delivered. I got to get both of them delivered from the giveaways, actually. So yes, which is pretty cool. Which is pretty awesome. Ace Hardware advertising Pokemon cards. Don't buy them from Ace Hardware. Well, probably not. It's up to you, but Ace Hardware, they don't sell at retail. They sell a little bit more expensive. They got packs there for like $8. But I mean, sometimes if that's what you want, that's the only thing you can find. Hey. And we will be doing another comic book giveaway we got a couple more of these blind bags left here. Got a couple more of these blind bags left for Nefi Wars blind bag number 1. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. We're also going to be doing Rippin' and Sippin' or Rippin' Packs, whatever I fucking call that stream, tomorrow night. I have an admission to make. Everyone. I try to resist opening any packs between now and when I do the Rippin' Packs stream. But, I got stuff here. I got stuff ready, and I got some extra Chaos Rising, and I'm thinking, it's not going to hurt to just open 2 packs of Chaos Rising. It's not even the new set that's out. I just opened 2 packs off stream. You guys remember what happened last time I opened 2 packs off stream and I pulled the Greninja SIR chase card from Chaos Rising and you guys didn't get to see it on the stream. I figured there's no way that can happen again. Literally happen again. I pulled the Greninja SIR from Chaos Rising. That is the 3rd one I've pulled from that set. I don't even have all the IRs from that set. And that's the 3rd fucking Greninja I pulled. And I was so fucking mad because it wasn't on stream. And that, because I know, you know what would have happened? If I had fucking decided to take those packs out and open them on stream, there wouldn't have been shit in there. I know it. I guarantee it. You guys have seen how bad my luck is on stream. It would have fucking telekinetically transported through the physical matter of space and time to like pop into another fucking thing. And it would have just been a dog shit card. That's what would have happened if I'd opened it on stream. So but it was nice to pull another one. Maybe we'll pull the Darkrai SIR. We got a lot of Pitch Black to open tomorrow, so we'll see. And by the way, the last 24 hours have been so fucking frustrating for that. The Sam's Club thing was a fucking nightmare. I showed up at 5 a.m. to Sam's Club. There's 200 people in line. Couldn't get anything. The Sam's Club drop last night was completely and totally fucked up. I was so ready to go. They logged me out of everything before the drop. They drop it at 2 a.m. when everybody's sleeping. Don't get shit. Pokemon Center dropped today. Fucking get in, queue up, sell out fast as fuck. Fuck me. Well, Lil Hank, at least, hey, got 2 Focus Fire Sams. Congratulations, Lil Hank. I didn't. I didn't. But congratulations. That's awesome. Vince, my company has an account with main Pokemon distributors. If you have an LLC, you can get a sales tax certificate. Vince, DM me on Instagram's the easiest way for me to find it. Because Twitter DMs are a fucking nightmare. Or you can email me. I would be highly interested in speaking to you, Vince. I'd be highly interested in speaking to you. Thank you so much, Vince. Because it's frustrating. I'll tell you that. There's 300 people at yours. Yeah, it's like I have the frustrating thing. I have 7 Sam's Club, well, maybe 8 actually, in like within 25 minutes, 30 minutes of me. And I was looking at all the different things, and I saw like at 9 o'clock at night there was a bunch of this. There's a bunch of it was ridiculous, right? And so I knew the best one, I was going to have to go like north a little bit and go to Sanford, a little bit out of the way. But I was like, maybe that'll give me the best chance. And I get there at around a little after 5, and there's 200 people in line. 288 total stock. It's just crazy. Anyway, Ryan Charlton, before the stream even started, 10 gifted memberships. Let's go, Ryan. Let's go. And you know what that means? My favorite part of the stream is I get to loosen up a little bit. The Pokemon stuff stressed me out. Maybe Vince Barter will be able to help me. My man, Ryan Charlton, coming through in the clutch. Let's go. That was before the stream even started. New bottle, newish bottle, yeah. Newish bottle, that's for sure. Because we finished 2 other bottles. Now, just for the record, the one we finished was like had that much in it. And then had to go run and get the one that was downstairs. It was already open. The one that I don't use on stream, that was also like that open. So when I say we finished 2 bottles, it's not like I didn't drink 2 whole bottles of alcohol. Right? Do you play the card or video games too, or more card fans for Pokemon? I don't play the TCG. Like I don't play the card game. I've never really been into that. Even when I was really younger, we were trying to figure it out initially. I just never got into. I've never got into too many TCG in general. But I've always been a Pokemon fan. I bought Pokemon Red at Toys R Us. My dad took me to get Pokemon Red at Toys R Us when I was really, really little. And I've played nearly every Pokemon game. I haven't played the last one, honestly. Pokemon ZA is one that I have not played. Maybe I should at some point. But yeah. Alex, Arrow Cave for 2, RK half of Daily Duo, S tier, Meta PC, code RK Outpost. Thank you, Alex. Shout out, man. Shout out. Speaking of Pokemon, I should show you guys what Jay got me. I know if you guys watched his stream, I'm sure he showed you already. And Bruce, my man Bruce, by the way, also has a couple awesome graded cards for me. Shout out to Bruce. I don't know if he's in the chat, but holy shit, you're awesome, man. But I got the one from Jay the other day. Let me show you guys real quick. 30 seconds. Somebody time me. I'm back. I think it was 36 seconds, by the way. I think I was late. I think it was 36 seconds. I had 36 in my head. Somebody tell me. But anyway, now I need to know how long it was. 40. I'm going to say 36. I'm going to say 36. Look what Jay got from me. Special delivery Charizard. PSA 9. Right there. Thank you, Jay. I got this from him the other day. Pop that up there. I'll put that on display back there, probably. 37 seconds? Okay. Considering that I was like running down the stairs, grabbing this, running up the stairs, I think that my 36 seconds in my head is pretty fucking close. That's pretty close. But anyway, it's probably enough Pokemon for this stream because we have a whole Pokemon stream going on tomorrow. We got a whole stream going on tomorrow. Go check out the second channel, RK Outpost Live, if you want to watch me open Pokemon and be miserable. Hugo for 10. Work on my Hawaii-Alaska trip next year, but I'm in love with Vera. Can they stop making the yellow fucking starburst? Nobody likes that shit. Is it gay if I shove it up my ass so I can shit on it? I think anytime you put anything up your ass, it's inherently pretty gay. But you're also saying you're in love with Vera. So I would say that indicates you're not. But I'm going to have a controversial take here. All right? I'm going to have a controversial take here. Has nothing to do with things in your ass. The yellow starburst is my favorite. Yellow starburst is my favorite. My starburst favorites are the inverse of almost everybody else I know. My favorites to least favorite. Yellow, orange, red, pink. And I feel like for almost everybody else, it goes the opposite way. Why do you want to start? I don't. I don't. I specifically said it's an unpopular thing. I'm acknowledging that. All right. Yellow, orange, red, pink. In that order. I'm okay with being in the minority. Stop complaining, black people. I'm okay with being in the minority. Probably in the minority when it comes to Odyssey, when you look at the grand scheme of everyone that's watched it. Ryan Charlton, don't worry, Ryan. I'll let you and everyone know when you're late to start. That's right. Ryan is the official timekeeper for this stream. And if he didn't say I'm late, I'm not late. I'm not late. Mike Hill, if you didn't know any of the story of House of the Dragon, just what you've seen on TV, who would you place your bet on a fight between Daemon and Aemond? If you're asking, if we're not putting dragons into the mix, Daemon, 100%. Now, if you start adding dragons, because Vagar's so big and so powerful, but I mean, Daemon, obviously, Caraxes has a lot of experience as well. Daemon has a lot of experience with Caraxes. That's a different story, but, when you bring dragons into the mix, could be a toss-up. But obviously, Vagar's a pretty unstoppable force, one would assume. Health Minister of Belgium for 199. I like thick and luxurious. Hair? I bet you do. I'm Brockatron for 5. Is there a plan to do a hot D stream for last episode? Who are some of the people you'd like to see cast for hypothetical Blackfire and Rob's Rebellion shows? I'm not very good at fan casting stuff. I've never been a good fan caster, but obviously the most badass dude to be cast has to be like Daemon Blackfire, like 100%. Like you need somebody fucking awesome for that. And I know they love to age up these characters a lot. I would love it if we can get one of these shows where it's a little more age appropriate casting. I understand one of the reasons they do it because, in the actual Song of Ice and Fire universe, much like, way back in the day, you had these people marrying and having kids really fucking young, getting married at 12 and having a kid at 13. And so, the idea that some of these characters are 2 decades older in like the Game of Thrones show than they probably should be. Well, they wanted to make their kids a little bit older and they wanted to put enough gap between when they had those kids for when they would have been having those kids. And all of a sudden you end up with like a 55-year-old Ned Stark. And it's like, okay, I understand the reasoning behind it, but I would love to actually get age appropriate castings for these characters. David's and I think that we're just going to cover both episodes next week. I think that's what we're going to do. Snacks, your long hair would be a natural pharaoh hat, would it? It'd be a natural pharaoh hat, huh? Maybe. David Smart, Avengers Doomsday trailer looks like shit. I don't know if it looks like shit, but it just looks okay. Maybe that is the new shit. Maybe mid is the new shit for some people, and I understand that. I still have a different definition of shit. Now, for some people, when there's so many things to do and so many options to watch, maybe mid really is the new shit, right? Because for me growing up, I'll say this. For me, when I was younger and stuff, what I would define as a TNT movie, right? A movie that would come on TNT randomly during the day, and you'd sit there and you'd have it on. You'd decide to watch it, and there'd be a bunch of commercials and stuff. But anyway, you'd have it on while you were maybe doing some other stuff, maybe playing on the computer or maybe doing some laundry, whatever it might have been. Those we'd probably define. I'd probably define some of those as like mid movies, 5 out of 10 or something, but it was entertaining in some way. Like one of the best. That's actually what I would call Masters of the Universe. Masters of the Universe to me is an old school like TNT movie. Maybe because we have so many other things going on at the tips of our fingers, that mid kind of is the new shit. Because unless something's really fucking good, you can do a bunch of other shit. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. John McKinley, Ryan, time to drink, I think. Please watch today's Bro Science. Started at 56:20. I promise you'll laugh. It's right up your alley. Please. Well, John, it's still early in the stream, so I'll do it for you. It was on Beardo's channel. What's with this thumbnail now? I'm not even going to ask. All right, 56:20. If this isn't funny, John, you got some explaining to do. $56.13
are from Germany. This is Tecate, Blaine. Do you notice something about the logo of Tecate?
Yeah.
Does it not look like an SS Eagle?
Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does.
Tecate, really literally, hold on. Let me look this up. SS Nazi logo. Oh, fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
Well, what? Is that what I'm supposed to laugh at? Beardo accidentally pulling up Nazi logos?
Look this up. SS Nazi logo. Ah!
I mean, what did he expect? What did he expect? I looked up Nazi logo and swastikas popped up. I'm gonna be honest, John. I'm gonna be honest, John. I don't know. I was expecting more from that one. But thanks, John. I would have never known that happened otherwise. Greedy Graffiti, Schrodinger's pack. Exactly. Brennan Lucas, odds on Starks being black now in Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I don't think that we should take anything that the play does as a thought to impact. Because look, the HBO stuff is in line with the show, and in the show, Game of Thrones, it's obviously because it even look like the dagger and shit like that from House of the Dragons, the same dagger from Game of Thrones. So I don't think we should expect them to be black. But I will say this: before I would have put the odds at 0%. Now we'll put it at 1%. Now we'll put it at 1. Taker, when a Pokemon is in a Pokeball, are they conscious or aware they're in one? They must be if Anime Ash doesn't keep Pikachu in one. Yeah, Pikachu doesn't like Pokeballs. I think they are. And that's why I think we should acknowledge that Pokemon are slaves and gladiators. That's one of the things I've always liked about it. I've always liked the fact that Pokemon are actually slaves. I think that the anime was meant for propaganda to gloss over the fact that these, oh, look at how happy and they're hugging each other and they really love doing this. Pokemon are slaves. They should be treated as such. Okay. They are gladiators. They are being forced against their will into a Pokeball. They are fucking whipped and beaten until they submit, until they're able to be captured. And then they're transported to wherever they want. And then they get thrown and tossed into forced gladiator combat. And it's fucking awesome, right? It's fucking awesome. Matt Trasbury, but what if you form a bond with them? What are you going to do then? Look, I'm pretty sure a lot of people fucked slaves. Now, I don't think that should be happening to Pokemon because they're not people. But I don't know. You can be fond of your slaves. You can have a house Pokemon. You can have a house Pokemon. Stone Cold's Beer Cruel, occupy Tumbleton, reprimand soldiers, make potpourri, utilize fear threats, naked bats, develop Prince Darren. I present to you the Ormond system. We're going to have to figure out whether that's going to work or not. We're going to have to figure out whether it works well for Ormond. Sherry, stop changing your fucking profile. What the fuck? Uziel Nap for 2. The girl from Obsession being fan casted for Rogue. That's a very common thing. Like anybody that's in anything recent all of a sudden gets fan cast for whatever. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, speaking of, I guess we can talk about Avengers Doomsday, can't we? We can talk about Avengers Doomsday. I think we should. Let me actually, I got to share the whole screen because I need audio for this. No way. Bro, my fucking background right now, you guys know my background fucking shifts around all the time. It's just random nature scenes. Look at this bullshit. These fucking cranes. These cranes that make the most annoying damn noise in the world. Pop that up there. I hate those things. They're fucking those cranes. I mean, I do think, look, if there's anything that's like cool about them, I suppose that I think they mate for life because you always do see them just with one other. They go in twos, but still. They're not sand cranes. They look like sand cranes to me. I think the red on a sand crane is more on its head than right there, but that's the same fucking type of bird, motherfucker. Like that's in the same category. They're related. Those birds are cousins. So I think they make annoying noises too. They make annoying noises too. All right. Let's get to Avengers Doomsday. We're only a few months away from Marvel's Hail Mary, because that's what it is. We're only a few months away from Marvel's big Hail Mary, Avengers Doomsday, a movie that was not originally supposed to be this, that was supposed to be this whole thing with Kang and all the different Kangs and Jonathan Majors and all of that stuff. That got completely thrown into reverse, gear shift, massive change for Marvel at the last second. Now, part of that may have been blamed on Jonathan Majors' legal issues, but the reality was everyone rejected that villain. They rejected that character. And whether or not Jonathan Majors got himself into some trouble may just been a good excuse to let go of him because they knew that the direction they were heading was not going to work. So they brought in Robert Downey Jr. at the last second to cast as Victor Von Doom, Dr. Doom for Doomsday. Whether that'll work out for them or not remains to be seen, but they just released officially the first full trailer. We know we had those 4 different teaser trailers, months and months ago. But now to coincide with tickets going on sale, they released the official trailer. And A lot of interest, 44 million views in a few days for Avengers Doomsday. And ticket sales booming right now, at least in the first 24 hours. Avengers Doomsday racks up $16.5 million in advanced ticket sales after the first day. Now, I think this is the most for Marvel, in 5 or 6 years, with the exception of the 2 Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man No Way Home and Spider-Man Brand New Day, I believe both had higher first-day ticket sales. Now, Avengers Doomsday is doing this without the benefit of IMAX theaters because Dune is in there, so everything should be put in perspective. But it's not like nobody bought it. I think it's about twice as many pre-sales in the first 24 hours, something like Deadpool and Wolverine. And something I've been saying for a long time, said it about Odyssey, but I've also said it about Avengers Doomsday. This is not going to be some $500, $600 million movie like so many other these Marvel movies that have come out. This is going to do numbers. The question is, will it be enough to justify the massive, insane price tag that is going to go along with this movie? But another interesting part of the trailer was the fact that it's not exactly new footage. Now, it might be for all of us who didn't go to CinemaCon, but 3 months ago at CinemaCon back in April, this is the trailer that debuted with all the influencers hyping it up and telling you that it was the best thing in the world. It was just phenomenal. It was incredible and really pushing the hell out of this thing. I think the trailer's okay, but the problem is if you still feel nostalgia for Thor, for Captain America, who's not going to be Captain America, he's just going to be Steve Rogers, who does make an appearance in this. If you have nostalgia for all these characters, maybe some of the Fox X-Men, the problem is every time you see a character you're interested in, you see a character that has already been rejected by the audience, a character like Shang-Chi or the Thunderbolts or whoever. We might as well watch the trailer, a little over 2 minutes, and you can judge for yourself.
Something's coming.
And of course, I don't know how many times we need to watch Charles Xavier die, but I assume that's happening again quite early on in this movie if the rumors are true.
Something we may not be able to deter. Before this day is done, we shall be faced with an unthinkable decision.
I've fought with many warriors in my time. They were far stronger than all of us put together, and they died. They died facing enemies and threats that scared me far less than this one. Everything that they sacrifice will be for nothing if we do not stand together.
A lot of Wakandans in the trailer, a lot of shots of Fantastic Four. We get the new Avengers, we get Shang-Chi. So again, like for every character you might care about, there's probably about 5 characters that you don't care about. Hey, they're making Thor more serious. Again, the Russo brothers are the ones that gave us Fat Thor in Endgame, so take that with a grain of salt. But right now, Thor seems much more serious than he felt in some of his other movies.
Put aside your petty squabbles. And presume nothing except this. If you return, you will return as brothers and sisters. But mark my words. We're going to need a miracle.
Hey, pal.
It's not possible.
And then just the logo reveal at the end for Avengers Doomsday. And again, Steve Rogers coming at the end. This is the trailer they showed at CinemaCon. We all remember the reports that came out during that time. This is that same trailer. Now, I will say, Comic-Con is coming right up. Hall H Comic-Con. Kevin Feige is going to be there. They just released this trailer, but I guess we shouldn't be surprised if they give something else. I think they need to give something else probably at Comic-Con to reveal a little bit about what's going on in the future for this franchise. But one of the things that Kevin Feige is claiming, even with this trailer coming out, even with a lot of people's speculation about what Doomsday and Secret Wars could mean, that we will not have a reboot of this universe. Kevin Feige claims the Marvel Cinematic Universe won't reboot after Avengers Secret Wars. During an appearance on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, Feige addressed persistent speculation that Secret Wars would completely reboot the MCU after the conclusion of Phase 6. His answer was direct, no. Instead of wiping the slate clean, Feige said Marvel's looking in the comics, specifically John Hickman's Secret Wars, as a guide for what comes next. Now, it's my belief and a lot of other people's belief that coming out of Secret Wars will have a new fully formed X-Men team that they'll maybe be able to do some stuff with after that. And I think that kind of tracks with that as well. I've heard some other things potentially about what they might do, but this is not going to be universe reset, new Captain America, Iron Man, Thor get cast to be part of the Avengers. That's not what's happening, according to Kevin Feige. And I kind of buy that, even though that might be the right thing to do. The right thing to do might actually be to sit on our hands for a while and let this thing cool off, for this to be a culmination and let things cool off for a little bit. But they're not going to do that. They want to print money. They want to continue. They want to put 3 movies out per year, 2 movies out per year, and print money. Now, is it going to be good enough to print money? Or, despite all these changes you made, this desperate attempt to shove Doom in there at the last second and hope that it works, spend $700 million on the production budget for this movie in desperate hopes of winning the audience back and getting them invested in the future. Is that going to be enough? And certainly, a lot of ticket sales in that first little bit with their Infinity Vision cope that they're doing because they don't have IMAX theaters. There are people that are going to go see this. The question is, how many people? And is it going to be enough to reinvigorate true interest in this franchise going forward? Not just people who want to see Steve Rogers and the face of Tony Stark as Doom again. That's the question that won't be answered for a while. Probably not till after Secret Wars, but Avengers Doomsday comes out late December. I feel nothing watching this trailer. Yeah. And maybe partially that's because this trailer isn't new. Like we've had it already spelled out for us what was going to happen in this trailer. You know what I mean? So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with there's so few characters that you actually care about in this truly. And there's a lot of characters you don't give a fuck about. My guess is Doom uses sorcery to look like Stark to give me edge. I mean, my guess is it's just it's a fucking multiverse, right? That's my guess. Hey, Nazi Cap is something that people have been suggesting. Now, they wouldn't have to go full Nazi Cap. They could just make him like evil Captain America, and I do think, didn't they have I say Nazi Cap, what I mean is Hydra Cap, but you guys know what I mean. Didn't Hydra Cap also use some sort of trick to like make it look like he lifted the hammer or something like that? Am I wrong? I'm not as in tune with a lot of the Marvel storylines as I am with some of the DC ones, but I mean, maybe. Yes, says SB. All right, I'll take that as a yes, I'm right. But I don't know. Corbo, I'm late. Gonna go for another hour? Another hour. Yeah, that's about as long as I'm gonna go. Yes, sir. Yes, sirree. We got a $50 from John McKinley. $50. Well, guess I'll take the L on that one. I really thought you in the chat would find it funny. Here's one on me, everybody. And drink. Hey, thank you, John McKinley. I appreciate it. It's not that it wasn't. I think you oversold it. You're like, trust me, this is going to be great. I don't laugh at much. John. So, but I appreciate it. It's not that it was unfunny. I'm just a miserable piece of shit. Nazis are funny, though, yes. Thank you. Somebody said Chris Evans' face looks weird. Thank you, John. Yeah, people are like, oh, did he get work done or whatever? I don't know if we can undersell. Look, we know a lot of these guys take something, whether they're straight up roided up, whether they're on some sort of testosterone therapy, whether it's some sort of hormonal HGH, whatever. We know that these guys have done that shit. And for Chris Evans to like kind of come in there a little bit last second to start doing stuff, who knows? He does look a little bit different in that trailer than he looked, say, in that A24 movie he did with Pedro and Dakota Johnson like 2 years ago. Facial structure does look a little bit different, but also who knows what he might have been doing. Who knows what he might have been doing in the process of that. And look, weight change like can change your face. Gary Mahler said he had work done on his face. I don't know. I think people underestimate how just random weight shit can change you. I don't know what would, the materialist. I don't know what would have made him get work done on his face between the materialist and now. It's not like he looked bad or anything. I'm not going to take one image in weird lighting and be like, he had work done. I just don't know. Now I think a lot of these guys do stuff and have been doing stuff for a long time. Like whether it's Botox or whatnot, just like in general. But in terms of any work, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Ryan's got to keep getting Botox for his giant forehead. I have wrinkles on my forehead. You can see them right here. Can you guys see it when I do that a little bit? I think overall I've got decent skin, but I ain't doing Botox. You fucking kidding me? I'm not doing Botox. David Smart Jr. My friend got me brandy for my birthday. The singer? Fuck my life. Brandy. It's been a while since I had brandy. A nice brandy. That's a little weird. Do you think Cap is going to be Nazi Cap? He could be. And I don't know if they're going to. I did just kind of work through that as well. Like, when I mentioned that, they don't have to make him Hydra Cap. They don't have to make him Nazi Cap, but they could make him just be working for Doom. Like, I actually think that's something they could do that would make a little bit more sense than throwing Hydra Cap into the mix. They could do that. Now, I've said before, it is my belief, and I don't have anything. This is not a, hey, somebody gave me this insider information. It's my belief, and it's been my belief for 3 years, maybe more, that Avengers Secret Wars, they are going to bring everybody back, and we are going to see Chris Evans in the Captain America get up. We are going to see Robert Downey Jr. in the Iron Man suit. I think that everyone is going to come back in some way for Secret Wars. You're going to see everybody. And I think that a lot of people, it's going to be used in some sort of way to unite the multiverse into one specific timeline and world. And that a bunch of people are going to like sacrifice themselves again in some cases. Like Black Widow. I don't know about Black Widow because I don't know if Scarlett Johansson wants to come back because she had the big shit with Disney. But that's just always been my belief. Gary said RDJ is coming back as Iron Man. Did Gary say that? Ryumple for 2. Ryan's still doing the Potter streams with Gary. So we only did the one. However, there are still plans to do more. I have all my books ready to go. I got brand new books for that. I don't even know where I fucking put those books. Oh, they're right here, actually. I got them right here. And I've got Red Rising books right here, too, by the way. My Red Rising books are right here. I don't know if you guys can see those. Got my paperback Harry Potter books right down there because my new reread that we're doing with Gary, I think maybe we'll start in September. Hopefully, that's the goal. But obviously, Gary's busy, so we're going to be doing those. And essentially, what we're doing for those guys, by the way, is we're just going to be rereading the books. My goal was to do one every week, and chapter by chapter, not like long, crazy streams, but read a chapter a week and just go through it. And I especially think it'll be good doing Sorcerer's Stone leading up to the release of the Harry Potter show. I think that'll be good, a good stream in general. And yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I know Gary wants to do it. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. But I think September-ish, if I had to guess, if I had to give you an estimation, that's when it would happen. The Filthy Mudbloods podcast, that's what it's going to be. And I'm going to be like taking notes. I'm going to take this very seriously, guys. Take it very seriously. Why Olives? For the amount of time you played it, did you enjoy it? KCD1. God bless you, the goat. I actually played it a lot off stream. I thought it was amazing. I really got into it. So thank you, Why Olives. Random commentator dude for 199. Beardo had to man up the thumbnail after last week. Maybe. SCDB for 2. Pokemon are weapons of war, not just gladiators. They could be used that way. I think Team Rocket has the right idea. Like Team Rocket is looking to weaponize Pokemon, like weaponize Mewtwo to control like global political disputes and shit like that. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Godzilla's Greaser, one of the inspirations for Pokemon was Ultra 7, in which the main character would occasionally use monsters in portable capsules to help in fights. I didn't know that, Godzilla's Greaser. You're telling me something new. Star Wars purist, I think picking apart RDJ's Doom accent and Hemsworth's Now, not sufficient Thor accent or big reaches. As far as comparing Doom versus Vader when it comes to voice modulation, I think Ryan knows as well as anyone Vader's voice the way it is due to damage in his throat, lungs, machinery wears, not the fact that he's wearing a mask. I did see somebody, actually, maybe that super chat's coming up here. It actually is. Lord Slosh, is it just me or they modified Doom's voice in the last day? I swear it sounded more gravelly yesterday. Maybe it's the way that I shared the audio and the way it's coming across potentially. I don't know what it sounded like to you guys on your side of the stream. To me, it sounded the same. It sounded the same as it did when it came out. You know, Robert Downey Jr. in a Latvian accent, I suppose. But yeah, they do have him have the accent. So he's getting paid a lot of fucking money. A lot of money. GraphWeb for 2, for fuck's sake. Cancel Disney Plus. I mean, what is there to watch on Disney Plus? Genuinely. Can anyone tell me? What is there to watch? Acolyte? Maybe. Maybe. Let me look. That's a good, maybe ask a question right now. Maybe ask a question that I need an answer to. Okay. Okay. The answer is no to the question that I asked. But speaking of Disney, we got a new round of layoffs. A new round of layoffs. Vera's streaming power at the moment. Why are you giving her advertisement on my stream, M Spock? How dare you? Maybe I'll play Pal World at some point. I have plans for streaming, guys. We're getting back into gaming. We didn't do it this week because reasons, but hopefully next week, we're gonna get back and maybe some older stuff. So if you be patient with me, we'll start getting. Yes, I'll do the cringe games that you guys want to, but maybe some stuff I actually fucking want to do and like to play. I'm not going to tell you right now, though. Carl Weatherspoon, Justin Fields. Bro, Justin Fields, come on. Come on. Real games, not stupid BS baby games. What does that even mean? What's a baby game? Do you think Pokemon's a baby game? And I think Pokemon is I would kind of define it as a baby game, but it's a baby game I fucking love. So fuck you. Fuck you. Anyway, let's talk about Disney. Well, it looks like the new CEO, same as the old CEO for Disney, at least when it comes to the necessity to lay off hundreds and hundreds of people seemingly every month. It seems like this has been a headline that we've had every 4 to 5 months for the last 3 or 4 years when it comes to Disney. It doesn't matter whether it's Bob Iger. It doesn't matter whether it's Josh D'Amaro, because the problems at Disney remain the same. This is a company, at least when it comes to their television, streaming, and movies, that is not making profit. It's not making money. Will they have 1 or 2 big hits a year? Yeah, they will. And then the rest of their movies typically lose a lot of money for them. Look no further than the dichotomy between Toy Story 5 and Moana live action. Toy Story 5 doing very well at the box office. Moana going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars for this company. But in the newest round of Disney layoffs, a lot of areas of the company are getting hit hard. Disney cutting hundreds more jobs in new round of corporate streamlining. Isn't that a nice way of saying we need to fire people to save money? Corporate streamlining. Pixar and Nat Geo are said to be hit particularly hard in the latest rounds of cuts, with some high-profile talent also being let go of at ESPN. And it seems like Pixar is always involved in these lives. How many people even work there anymore? I feel like every couple months we hear that 10 to 12, 15% of Pixar's workforce has been laid off. And I mean, look, we know that Pixar is not the same. Ever since Lasseter left, Pixar has not been the same. And there's a reason why all their original shit is failing and flopping horrifically and losing them so much money. It's the reason that we end up getting Toy Story 5 and Toy Story 6 maybe being planned, and Frozen 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, because that's all they have. That's all they can come up with that they know might make money for them. Any of the original stuff that they've put out, it is done horribly over the last several years. And quite frankly, it's the same whether you're talking about Pixar or Walt Disney Animation. You know, they kind of alternate these release dates, and whether it's something like Wish or whether it's something like Elio, all of these original projects that they have fall flat on their face, in large part because they fired so many of the people that had been working there a long time because they were straight white men, and they hired a bunch of people who were unqualified, but they were the right gender, the right sexuality, the right skin color to make sure we were pushing diversity at Disney. And a lot of that is blown up in their faces in a big way. But let's get into this a little bit. The video game industry isn't the only part of the entertainment world experiencing major cuts. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Disney is initiating a new round of layoffs, eliminating hundreds of jobs. And hundreds of jobs might not seem like a lot, but when you keep in mind that thousands were let go a couple months ago, thousands were let go back in January, these things start to add up over the course of the year. This is the third round of cuts this year for Disney. Of the movie studios affected by Disney new layoffs, Pixar is said to be the hardest hit, while National Geographic will have the bulk of the television cuts. On ESPN, while most of the layoffs are happening behind the scenes, SportsCenter anchor and Baseball Tonight host Carl Ravitch, who has been there forever, got fired. Ryan Clark got fired too. Made a video on Sports Wars about Ryan Clark being fired because Ryan Clark deserved to be let go a long, long time ago. In a larger sense, these Disney layoffs, the third round of layoffs at the company this year, are part of a reorienting. Wow. It's always funny the way that people cannot come up with words that basically just mean you're fucking fired and things aren't going well. Restructuring, reorganizing, reorienting everything. Yeah, you're fired. We can't afford to pay all you people as much money anymore. We need to cut jobs because we need to make sure we're still a profitable company. And yeah, so Pixar, the hardest hit. There are cuts throughout all like the film and Disney television and things like that as well. I didn't hear too much about streaming. Maybe it's because they already made a bunch of cuts to streaming, because quite frankly, why would you subscribe to Disney Plus? There's nothing worth watching on there, I suppose, unless you're trying to sit down your 5-year-old in front of the television and not pay attention to them all day. But Pixar is the real saddest part, I think, because look, I'm 37 years old, and so many people my age grew up with a lot of these movies, and, you know, whether it was just Disney animation, whether it was Pixar, you know, we grew up with these movies, and it seemed like everything they came out was not only just financially successful, but also something meaningful. Did they have a bomb every once in a great while, a shitty movie that didn't make a lot of money? Yeah, maybe. But for the most part, they put out a lot of bangers, and it just feels like that is not the case now. This is an article, right, from 2023. Pixar's not dead, but it is on life support. What went wrong with Disney's $15 billion animation king? And here we are in 2026. And other than something like Toy Story 5 or Moana 2, now Frozen 3 or whatever, whenever that's going to come out. They're done with original ideas. They used to have original ideas that were massively successful all the time, whether it was Disney Animation Studios, whether it was Pixar, and now it's just a shell of its former self, basically just like Disney as a whole is. And maybe when you look at Marvel, when you look at Star Wars, when you look at Pixar, maybe Disney is the fucking problem. When you look at ESPN, we've got all these things. Maybe there's a problem at Disney, because this is the third round of layoffs this year, and it's certainly not guaranteed to be the last. Ryan, get us a pizza. I had pizza yesterday. I can't have it today. I had pizza yesterday. I do like pizza. The It's an underrated comment. The people National Geographic used to take pictures of are the people who now work for Disney, probably. Oof. Oof. That's rough. It's a rough comment there. Underrated. Underrated comment. Every phone, $199 for $50. Says every phone. Every phone. What does that mean? Is this a meme that I've missed from like Tuesday night's main event or a Jeremy stream or something? Every phone, $199. Every phone. Did someone make a typo and say every phone instead of every one? What is this from? Beardo said it last night. Okay. Every phone. I don't know what this means. Beardo. Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of, was that it's a meme from Tuesday night's main event that I don't know what we're talking about. Every phone. Thank you. Every phone, $199 for $50. Woo. Let's go. Thank you. Every phone. Oh, something from are you talking about like are you talking about from Nolan's Batman movies when they use the fucking phones for the surveillance and all that shit? Is that what we're talking about? Ryan, you're making me thirsty. I'm tired of drinking water. These pretzels are making me thirsty. Hope everybody got that reference. I know we got some young people. in the chat, but I also think we got some old people in the chat. And by old, I mean my age. I saw a clip of Gary. On his stream. I don't know when this was. I don't know, yesterday, day before. He was saying that when he hears me say that I'm old, that he wants to slap me. Why? I am old. I'm 37 years old. That's old as shit. Now, I'm not ancient like somebody in their 50s. That's ancient. But for me, I am old. I am way past the middle of my life. It's done. It's over. But Gary threatened violence. Gary's like a fucking black person when you say you don't like a movie. He threatened violence on me because I said I'm old. Then I'm ancient. You're ancient. You're middle-aged. Yeah, so I don't think I'm actually middle-aged, but I am way past the middle of my life. Yes. So technically, I think I am. I think I am. Kuhaku. Remember for 8 months. Not looking forward to Avengers Desperation Day. For me, MCU ends at Infinity War as I've come to sour on Endgame. I soured on Endgame quick. I soured on Endgame between when I walked out of the theater and when I got home from the theater in the car, you know? You know? The Hollywood Menace. As an Aussie, what happened to Thor? Did he spend too much time on his ranch in Oz and got his accent back? This film looks terrible. I didn't particularly find any problem with his accent. But maybe I'm not as attuned to that, I suppose, but I didn't have any issue with his accent in the trailer. Remember, I did that trailer because we had the description leaked, and I think on FNT and maybe another one, I did like what I thought Thor would probably sound like for that. 74 is young to die. I mean, what's the average lifespan for a American male? Well, I'm going to guess it's 76 to 77. It is 76 and a half years old. That is about as spot on as you could possibly fucking be. That is as spot on as you could possibly be. You're welcome. I'm very well aware of death. Okay? Very well aware of death. Now, we should say this, that life expectancy is based off a lot of different things, right? Because in that is going to be people that die early due to like crazy shit or whatever, you know? So I actually think if you like, I'm pretty sure there's statistics that show if you live past 65, like on average, anyone that lives to the age of 65 is going to live on average about 20 years after that. So like up to 85. So a lot of that's based on things that would happen before you get old. It's not just like, oh yeah, 76 or sorry, 76, 77. That's just the age we typically drop dead. It's based on a lot of shit. And obviously there's a lot of fat people in America. That's going to contribute highly to people's issues. And I'm not fat. So, but yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons when you look at like average lifespan for people that lived a long, long time ago, it's like it's incredibly low in terms of life expectancy. But a lot of that has to do with like infant death and, you know, people getting sick and like not having any like medication and things like that, as opposed to just people died quick. So all about context, right? But I do eat a lot of junk food. I do eat a lot of shit. You're not wrong about that. Meg for $10. I just saw all 8 Harry Potter movies are being re-released in theaters at the end of August for Sorcerer's Stone 25th anniversary. They're including 12 extra minutes of Sorcerer's Stone. So are they releasing the extended cuts? So one of the things that I do really like, and I guess I don't know who has them, because for a long time, you could only see the extended editions with all like the deleted scenes on Peacock, because, or like on TV when NBC would air it before streaming, because Universal had some of the rights for it at certain times. All 8? Are they like just all 8 in one weekend? That's a lot of fucking time, Meg. August 25th. Or at the end of August. Maybe I have to go check that out. It's been a long time since I've seen a Harry Potter movie in theaters, that's for sure. Maybe I'll skip Goblet of Fire. But yeah, the extended cuts are good. And some of it is like, man, why would you cut this out? Like in Half-Blood Prince. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can look up this deleted scene. Half-Blood, fuck me. Half-Blood Prince. I'm with you, deleted scene. Can I find that? Can I find that? Half-Blood Prince, deleted scenes. This is just fucking a song that they're singing. I don't give a fuck about that. Hold on. Deleted scenes. This might be all of them. So check this out. You can see me scroll through here.
When he disappeared off the map, it was just
God, the fucking sepia tone of this movie. Whose idea was this? Here it is. So one of the coolest moments in the books, and one of like the most, I don't know, cool, like emotional moment, I guess, in Half-Blood Prince. In the beginning of Half-Blood Prince, when Dumbledore comes to take Harry away from the Dursleys, and he talks to the Dursleys, blah, 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 and they're walking, and they're talking about the fact that Voldemort's openly back and all the Ministry of Protection and stuff like that, and they're about to travel to go find Slughorn. Like, Harry's like, do we have to worry about anything? And, Harry and Dumbledore's like, I don't think you have to worry. You're with me. And at the very end, and that happens in the first couple chapters of the book, near the end of the book, after they've gone to the cave and fought the Inferi, and Dumbledore's really fucking weak after drinking the potion and barely escaping, Harry is like, kind of like, Dumbledore's leaning on him, and Harry's like dragging him out of here, and Harry's going to have to apparate them both back to Hogsmeade, and Harry says something like, don't worry, sir, and Dumbledore says, I'm not worried, I'm with you. And that has always like got me. Like that moment always gets me because I just think it's very meaningful, like how much belief in Harry that Dumbledore has at this point. And I think it's just good writing, echoing from the beginning of the book towards what happens at the end of the book. And that is not in the movie, but in the deleted scene.
It's all right, sir. Don't worry. We're nearly there.
I'm not worried, Harry. I'm with you.
It's only like fucking 8 seconds. It's only like 8 or 10 seconds, you know? And I don't think that is as impactful as it is in the book, to be honest with you. However, like, why couldn't you leave that in? Like, why couldn't you leave that in the book? And I don't know. Or sorry, in the movie. Half-Blood Prince is such shit. Half-Blood Prince is such shit. It's a lot of people's favorite book. My favorite has always been Goblet of Fire. However, like Half-Blood Prince is easily like my second favorite book and probably is maybe the best book, but I have more attachment in my heart to Goblet of Fire just because of when I read it and how into Harry Potter I was at that time, stuff like that. Half-Blood Prince wasn't even a great book. Respectfully, you're wrong. It was. It was. London Fog, new member. Thank you, London Fog. Greedy Graffiti. You rent your router from Spectrum? I used to rent the top of the line, then I bought a good modem router from Best Buy, and it's way better now. So the one I use is the Spectrum one. I'll be honest, I did get one like that. I bought a really nice one, and I saw effectively no difference in speed. So I returned that one. But yeah. Now, the reason being, I think I didn't see a big difference because I'm hardlined in. I think that's the reason I didn't see much of a difference. If I had been looking at just the Wi-Fi signal, it could have been probably a bigger deal. But I'm hardlined in, so that's what kind of mattered most to me. Look up a picture of Corey Feldman and tell me he doesn't look like Chris Evans in that trailer. I could see that. I could see a little bit of Corey Feldman in that. Mav Miller, black don't crack and neither does Ryan. It's true. I'm black. I have a black man spirit. Okay. That's why I have such violent, angry outbursts. But yeah. Crack Kills says used to sell Spectrum, used to work at Best Buy. He's right. If you're hardline, then no need. There you go. Super Frandeman. Toby, be good beggar for Ryan. Good beggar. Don't send Toby away. Toby, be good for your hand, boss. Good for your hand, master. Who's Toby? Am I missing something? Oh. Who's Toby? Toby? Oh, from Roots? I'll be honest with you. I watched that one fucking time because we had to watch like an episode or two for school. So that does not stick with me. I remember Kunta Kente. I remember Kunta. Thank you, Super Frandeman. Luckfield, the gang solves the Latverian 1mm1 immigrant crisis. You can't say immigrant? That's fucking nuts. The Latverian immigrant crisis. Thank you. Movie news reviews. Ryan, have you seen the picture released for Children of Blood and Bone? It looks like a Wakandan multiverse of blackness. Yeah, that thing's probably going to be a nightmare. Didn't Disney like give up on that shit? That was supposed to be Lucasfilm, right? It's fucking Paramount now, yeah. Because it was originally Disney. The fact that Amandla Stenberg, and I might do a video about that at some point because I'm pretty sure Amandla Stenberg, the acolyte bitch, is like one of the leads in it. And apparently the author of the book that they're adapting despises her and blocked her and like says she doesn't want her name attached to this project, which is really funny. Snacks, clearly there's no Disney growth. Clearly. Flag Ninja Ryan, you said you're waiting to crack open that Japanese 151 for a special occasion. What special occasion would it take for you to do it? I think it's probably going to be sometime around the holidays, if I'm being honest, Flag Ninja. I mean, it's like a... I mean, what would the market be for this? 300, 350? So I am going to open it at some point. I'm not going to sell it because I bought it in Japan. So I'm not going to like just fucking sell it off like a scalper. I'm going to open it, but I think maybe around the holidays I might. Super Frandeman, somebody get these beggars out of here. I love that line from fucking Pattinson. Because he says beggars the same way I say black. I don't know if anyone's made that connection. Robert Pattinson took acting lessons from me. From me. Is this it?
Somebody get these beggars out of here. Somebody get these beggars out of here.
See, it's just the B. That's how intense people say the word, like words that start with B. Okay? You type like a black girl with long nails? No, it's just, it's my, okay. I do type hard, but I go hard in life, Sherry. I go hard in life. I do type hard. I should say that I have like one of those like mechanical fucking computers that's just a little bit loud, you know?
Somebody get these beggars out of here.
That's how I look when I say black.
Somebody get these beggars out of here.
He also blinks a lot in that shot. I blink a lot. To do Luckfield, Ryan, if he was a midget, no biggers. David Smart, Ryan, can we exchange alcohol bottles? My brandy for your whiskey. I think it's fair exchange. I don't think that sounds very fair. I don't think that sounds very fair. I like my whiskey. I might not like your brandy. Brandy's a little bit different. I mean, I'll drink anything that's got alcohol in it, but brandy's a little different. You're a long way away. Don't you live up in like northeast somewhere? Why Olives for 5? Hello Kitty Island Adventures would be right up your alley. Only $40. A must stream for sure. Looking forward to it. There would be some people that would love to see me play Hello Kitty. I don't think I'm going to play Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Okay? Something badass. Uziel Nap. I want to start a show where I show Jewish movies to non-Jewish movie critics. Want to be the first to watch Jewish movies? Uziel Nap? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I feel like You know, that is a series that might catch fire, but I don't know if it's going to get I don't know how it's going to do for you, Uziel Nap. Jewish movies to non-Jewish. What are you going to show me, like because wasn't the thing that's on HBO that has Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney, Euphoria? Wasn't Euphoria based off a Jewish show originally? Am I wrong about that? Elitist for 2. Hope you see Wolverine Insomniac. They did it again. What? A black person, an ugly woman? What'd they do? Cole Hauser. What's up, brother? Hope you're well, my Rigga. Hey, shout out Cole Hauser. My man, my Rigga. What's up, man? Chris Nicholson for $10. Deploying to the Middle East tomorrow. Don't know when I'll be watching my favorite YouTube streamers live for a while. Thank you for the countless hours of entertainment. Stay awesome. Thank you, Chris. I'm really sorry to hear that, man. That sucks. Stay safe. Stay safe. Like I said it months ago when all this started, that this was going to be like a mess. And like here we are. Billions of dollars later. Just that sucks. Stay safe, Chris. Stay safe, man. Trey Miller for $50. What's up, Trey? Astrology alert. Ryan, were you born in the year of the horse? 1990. It would explain a lot. The Asian belief is that every 12 years indicates a new chapter in life. Birth to 12, 13 to 24, 25 to 36, etc. I suspect this might be your year. Cheers. Well, your suspicions are wrong. I was born in 1988, in the year of the dragon. I'm a fucking dragon. Come on. A horse? I mean, I wouldn't mind being year of the horse. That'd be fine. But I'm year of the dragon, motherfucker. That's me. So I don't know what that means. So, I mean, I'm 37. So this would have been, I guess maybe I'll be 38 in a couple months. My God. This year's gone by crazy fast. But yeah, you're the dragon. I feel like it works for me. Unicycle peon. Oh, I owe a shot for that one, and I owe a shot for this one for $50. Over on Rumble. Thank you, Unicycle peon. Half-Blood Prince was my favorite book and my favorite movie. But I only read each book twice. I've seen the movies a dozen times each, so the movie experience isn't ruined by the differences for me. You are a rare bird, Unicycle peon. That's. So for me, the movies or the books I love the most are the movies that I dislike the most. Goblet of Fire and Half-Blood Prince, I think, are like my least favorite movies because I think they're such poor adaptations. I don't think that Half-Blood, if you take the movie by itself, I don't think Half-Blood Prince is a bad movie. But based on the adaptation, I do think I think it's a really poor adaptation. So that's an interesting one. I don't know if I've heard too many people who say Half-Blood Prince is their favorite book and their favorite movie. Most people I know who love Half-Blood Prince have big problems with the movies. With that being said, I have a lot of love in my heart for the entire Harry Potter movie series in general, even for the one, like, even though some of them aren't the best adaptations, I still really like them. So that's crazy, Unicycle Peon. But thank you very much for the $50. It means I owe 2 shots, by the way. Back to back. So some of my biggest criticisms with the Half-Blood Prince book, or sorry, with the Half-Blood Prince movie, I think the Ginny Harry romance is done really poorly, and I don't blame Daniel Radcliffe or Bonnie Wright. I just think the writing's shit. I just don't think it's good. They don't really have any chemistry. Ginny is not the same character she is in the books. So, another big problem I have is the removal of some of the Voldemort flashbacks and backstory, because that's one of the most intriguing parts of everything in Half-Blood Prince, is finding out more about Voldemort's backstory. And so many of those flashbacks get completely and totally removed. You barely have, I think you only have him at the orphanage and him with Slughorn. You don't have the flashback of the Gaunts. You don't have the flashback of him when he was working for Borgin and Burks and getting the cup of Hufflepuff from that fat bitch. You don't have him returning to ask for the Defense Against the Dark Arts job and talking to Voldemort. Like, you don't have so many of the flashbacks, and I think the movie suffers because of that. And the other one is, the movie's called Half-Blood Prince, and in the book, in every single chapter, either the Half-Blood Prince by name or Advanced Potion Making, the book, is named in basically every chapter of that book. It is omnipresent throughout. And in the movie, I think they go like an hour and 20 minutes without mentioning either at one point. So, yeah, that's one of my things. I think we're trying to protect our own country. Iran was planning nuclear warheads, planning to target New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Miami, Detroit, Washington. Look, man, there's certainly, I think the people who run Iran are pretty much awful people, right? The people in power. However, if you think that they were anywhere close to having that type of capability, I just don't know what to tell you. I think that's crazy. Pre-dawn corpse for $2. Ryan, what would you do if you were a hippopotamus? If I was a hippopotamus, I would try to sneak up on every motherfucker that was on a little canoe, like going through the fucking river. I'd sneak up on them. I wouldn't kill them, but I would try to scare the shit out of them. If I was a hippopotamus. Johnny's Raynor Ryanor Targaryen. You're the dragon. Team Black. Team Black. Bro, I'd love to be a Targaryen. I'd love to be a Targaryen ruling over all these fucking Westerosi filth. The Westerosi filth. All right, we got to talk about Odyssey a little bit. We made a couple mentions of it earlier. We got to talk about it because it is doing numbers at the box office. And also, I got to talk about, some of what I feel like is people reaching like on our side, like to try to say that what you see in front of you isn't real and stuff like that. And it's perfectly fine to not like a movie. I didn't particularly like this movie. I think I gave it a 5 out of 10 or something, and I'm very critical of the things that they changed. And I don't really plan on ever watching it again. I don't think it's worth watching again, all that stuff. However, you have some people, and it's similar to things that happen for stuff like The Acolyte, when people refuse to admit that it's like failure, that nobody wants to see it. You have people that are trying to come up with every reason why this is bullshit and this is bullshit, when like the numbers are the numbers. When the numbers are the numbers. I've been seen on left wing saying Nerdrotic and MAGA are having a meltdown over this not being the worst movie ever / good box office. See, that's the thing. I think there are some people like on social media, on Twitter, that are doing that. I don't think I've seen Gary have any meltdowns. I don't think I'm having any meltdowns. I don't think Critical Drinkers have any meltdowns. And by the way, all of those people, including myself, said that there was no way in hell that this movie is a flop. I said there might be a case where this movie has put off enough people. If normies are actually aware of the controversies, there's a chance that this movie ends up being a little bit of a disappointment, but it's never going to be like a flop or failure in that sense. I mean, you can sit here and look at how many videos did I make where I made sure to point out that exact same thing. So there are people that want to claim this as a massive victory for the left over us, but I think there might be either lying or conflating us with some people in the chat or some people on Twitter that were making pretty crazy predictions. And I think a lot of it are these right-wing kind of engagement bait accounts. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. Let's see. We'll get into it. Let's talk about the Odyssey. After a big opening weekend at the box office, the Odyssey has continued to post big numbers on both Monday and Tuesday, and likely on Wednesday heading into the weekend. A movie that for me was very mid, was very meh. I gave it around a 5 out of 10 when I got out of there. Although I do think that the filmmaking and cinematography, pretty incredible, the things that they were able to do. I really didn't emotionally connect to the movie, and I had a big problem with some of the changes about the intentions of these characters and who these characters are based on what we saw from the actual source material. However, that doesn't negate the reality. This movie right now, as of opening weekend and the first couple weeks, and likely into the second weekend, is doing big numbers. The Odyssey scores 21 million plus, record Tuesday for Christopher Nolan. Second U.S. weekend could top Dark Knight. And when you look at the projections right now for the second weekend, we are looking at somewhere potentially between 70 and 80 million dollars, a projected drop of around 35%, which would be a big hold. And something that I've said for months and months and months was likely to happen with this movie. Not to expect, even if people didn't like it, not to expect some massive second weekend drop-off, because honestly, people had been foregoing seeing it in regular theaters to see it in IMAX theaters or premium screens throughout the rest of the week and into the second weekend. And you've even got some big 70 millimeter IMAX shows that have sold a lot of tickets 4, 5, 6 weeks out, even, because that's how a lot of people prioritize seeing Christopher Nolan movies. And it's not to say there's not been any criticism for the movie. There has been criticism from myself, certainly. I didn't like it. But even the feminist translator, Emily Wilson, who it seems like a lot of the way that some women were portrayed in this movie was derived from, even she had issues with some of the same things a lot of us did, which is that Odysseus is a different character, with the removal of some of the gods and specifically Odysseus's entire motivations and this whole anti-war narrative that was not present throughout the original source material at all. Is a weird take. It definitely is a modernized version, one that some people, just got to be honest, are loving, And I think a minority of people as of right now, a vocal minority, are not, including myself. I actually got to share this audio because that's something I forgot to do. Boom.
What did you think about the film in terms of this notion of the Odyssey as an anti-war text?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought it. I want to, not spoil anything about the film because I know the majority of people haven't seen the film.
Can you believe that this woman did a feminist translation of the Odyssey?
I mean, the film has these flashbacks to the Trojan War. I'm not sure if I see it as an entirely anti-war film, but it certainly presents us with an Odysseus who feels very bad about certain things that he's done in war and is struggling to process them in a very, I would say, very modern psychiatrized way. And he's struggling to process them and needs drugs to do so for help with his recovery.
Right.
And he seems to feel bad about being a warrior, and we never actually get to see him doing much warrioring, which I thought in a way was a bit of a shame. I mean, we do get to see the boat, which is lovely, but I think in some ways, I mean, I was realizing, thinking about the film, there's a tolerance for ambiguity in the world of the Odyssey, which I don't think there exactly is in the world of Hollywood blockbuster action films.
Right.
And I think that's one of the big challenges for Nolan, right?
Yeah.
Is that he has to make the protagonist a likable all-American hero,
Right.
which is a real challenge if you're basing this on a poem where the hero is not necessarily motivated by romantic love or being a nice suburban parent, but actually he wants glory, and he wants to get spoils from the sack of a city, which.
And I think, look, obviously this person has put out an adaptation of the Odyssey, which famously is known for how much it changes things surrounding the women and the little bit of like feminist through lines that are throughout her work. And I think we saw some of that in Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, which I was not a fan of. But I do think she's right when it comes to Odysseus's motivations and his character being completely different. This man who's riddled with guilt and PTSD for what happened in Troy, and he doesn't even want to go home. He's like ashamed of who he is, as opposed to the character and the actual story from 3,000 freaking years ago. That's about a man whose downfall is his pride, and he desperately wants to get home. He doesn't feel guilt about what happened in Troy, because why would you all this time ago? This is a modern retelling, and it's one of the things I didn't appreciate about it. However, when you look at how people are feeling about it, seemingly, and the numbers it's getting at the box office, this is continuing to do very, very well. And maybe it's going to continue on this path. Maybe it'll continue to $1 billion. Maybe it'll fall off a little bit. I don't know. But I do think that it needs to be stated that there's some people out there that are, in my mind, trying to cope in kind of crazy ways. At the end of the day, I said that this movie was never going to fail, was never going to flop, was never going to make $500-600 million, was always going to do numbers. I did say, I wonder if the backlash and a lot of negativity from some people, could that bring something that was a $1 billion plus movie down to the $900 million range? Maybe a little bit of a disappointment from them, but certainly not a failure or a flop. I said that you can go look through my videos. There's a lot of people trying to say that this side of YouTube, you guys said it would fail. You guys said it would flop. I never said it would flop. In every video and every live stream, go back and check if you want. But there's some people who, because they didn't like it and I didn't like it, they're trying to, I guess, come up with everything in the world they can to excuse away the reality that this movie's doing well as of now at the box office. And like I saw this, right? Variety put out something. Screens for Odyssey and IMAX are sold out to an unprecedented degree, giving rise to scalpers and scammers looking to rip off cinephiles. You have somebody responding here. You can get tickets for the 70 millimeter IMAX showing the Odyssey at the Irvine Spectrum literally tomorrow. The late Wednesday night show has seats too, as do earlier screens. What are they talking about? And he's showing things that are basically completely and totally sold out. His point is they're lying. It's not sold out. You're right. I guess it's only 98% full with just like the front row available in some of these things. So it's like you have people going to like extremes. You also have, and I did want to talk about this, the Rotten Tomatoes scandal, where you've got people that have gotten to the back end of Rotten Tomatoes to get some data and are saying, these are the real scores, guys. Look, I don't think that Rotten Tomatoes, ever since in 2019, when they shifted how they take their data and how they display their verified reviews, I think you have to take all that with a grain of salt in terms of this is a company that was bought by studios, originally bought by Warner Brothers. I think at one point Disney had some stake in it. I think at one point Universal had some stake in it. I don't know exactly which studios have some stake in Fandango and Rotten Tomatoes now, but it was bought by Fandango. Studios own parts of it. Rotten Tomatoes is used as a vehicle to make people go to see movies. So it shouldn't be surprised they try to protect these things from review bombing. It shouldn't be surprised they try to give like the best benefit of the doubt to some of these movies. However, when people are looking at, hey guys, we found the real Rotten Tomatoes score, and I've seen this floating around a lot. I certainly think that you should view it in context now, that now an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes these days is more like what a 40 or 35% used to be. However, I hesitate to say this is the real Rotten Tomatoes score, because to explain all this data, before 2019, you had to go to the website, you had to actually leave a review, you had to search out the thing and leave a review there. Now, if you purchase a ticket through Fandango, after you see the movie, you'll get a push notification on your phone. Hey, did you enjoy this? And then you can rate it. The way the popcorn gap is working is they are removing anyone that has rated it with that push notification, because their justification is it's low effort. People are more likely to say they liked it because it's on opening weekend. All those things are valid. However, I don't think you can say that you should just discount everyone that's doing something through one of those push notifications. So you're removing all those reviews from people that may have liked it, may have disliked it, to say this is now the real Rotten Tomatoes score. So I think you have a lot of people trying to justify whether they love this movie or whether they hated this movie. Why? Well, if this is the case, then all this is bullshit. Look, I didn't like this movie. I don't think it's a particularly good movie. I don't think it's one of Nolan's best movies. I have a lot of problems with the way they adapted things. However, in terms of cinematography and some of the acting, really solid in parts, I can see why a lot of average moviegoers that maybe don't care as much about a modern translation and aren't as bothered by a race swap, I can see why some of these people will like it. It doesn't affect me. I'm not going to try to make up things as to why, because I didn't like it. It can't, this is all lies and this is all bullshit. Sometimes you don't like something and a lot of other people do. I felt that way about Force Awakens. I despised Force Awakens when I watched it, and I looked around and it looked to me like everybody else loved it. And I didn't understand why. I thought it was a complete shell. I thought it was hollow. I couldn't believe what they did to Han Solo. That thing went on to make $2 billion. And it seemed like everybody loved it at the time. And I think a lot of people did like it at the time. I don't think time has been well to that movie. But regardless, if time was well to that movie and the Star Wars sequels continue to do awesome things and Disney Star Wars continue to do really well, it wouldn't change my opinion on the movie. I still would have not liked it. And I'll feel the same way about this, regardless of whether this movie hits $1 billion, hits $1.3 billion, or whether it doesn't. And whether in the future it's panned and, you know, in the future it's looked upon really poorly, or whether it's looked upon as one of the best masterpieces of the time, which I think is quite ridiculous. But hey, it's just my opinion. I do think that people need to, there are some people that said outlandish stuff about this movie in terms of it flopping. In my mind was outlandish. And a lot of those people are like random political accounts that are chasing clicks, and they don't talk about entertainment unless it's something that they know will get them clicks, and they don't really know what they're talking about. I think that happened a lot with this movie. Second weekend's probably going to be really solid. And my guess is it's going to continue on this run, because I think that for the most part, most people that are watching this are enjoying it, even if they have some issues with it. I don't like it. And personally, I wish that a modern adaptation of this movie that was so subversive to the original and that had little feminist undertones with nearly every female character involved, I wouldn't want it to succeed, especially if I didn't like the movie. However, I think there are some people, most people are not, but I think there's some big high-profile Twitter accounts that are trying to come up with every excuse in the world why this isn't real and this isn't real and it can't be real because I didn't like it. And I just think that that's similar to sometimes what we see on the other side when something like The Acolyte is a complete and total failure and people try to live in this delusion. I think you should just be honest about what you're seeing with these numbers. And because I think you're going to end up looking foolish if you try to continue denying reality. if the reviews are really at 50%, how many of the sales do you think are morbid curiosity or people who have seen all of Nolan's work and don't want to miss one? Look, I think a lot of people will go to see something just because it says Chris Nolan on it. Ryan, do you agree with Jeremy that the Odyssey isn't woke? I suppose it depends on how you kind of define that. This is what I will say. It's not the biggest woke pile of shit in the world, right? This is not fucking Ironheart or The Acolyte. That's not what this is. However, it 100% from the castings and, in my mind, to the subversion of the story. Like, it is this modernized, progressive fucking retelling. From the feminist through lines with every female character, the way that Circe is changed and things like that, to Odysseus's entire motivations and his fucking guilt and PTSD, the insistence throughout the entire thing that, oh, men are just fucking violent animals that at their base that need to be held back or else civilization will crumble. I mean, that is woke. Now, I will say that it again, it's not the most woke pile of shit I've ever seen in my life, and I'm not going to say that, but yeah, that's how I feel. But anyway, we got to get through some of these super chats because I got to get ready to end this stream. Stephen De Leon. Shut your whore mouth, Ryan. Shout out West Texas. Bills Mafia. Notre Dame rules all. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Stephen De Leon. Tiggs for 5. Ryan, you should try yoga to deal with the grumpies. It helps. Thanks, Tiggs. Snacks for 2. What was the Cyclops? Was that the Cyclops or the Bag of Winds? The Bag of Winds. What is the Bag of Winds? Thank you. Craig was the worst Bond, but his films made money. Fair. Very fair. Flag Ninja for 5. However, Tax, did I say that? Of course I did. I didn't even know I said that shit to all you guys fucking started bitching at me about it. Till you started bitching at me about it. I didn't even know. Albro, I made a bet with my buddy. I think Spider-Man will make more than Doomsday. I think that that's a fair guess right now. Genuinely. I think Doomsday will have a record opening. I don't think it's going to have a record opening. I don't think it'll be higher. I don't know if Spider-Man or if Doomsday will be bigger than even like Spider-Man Brand New Day or something. I think it'd have a huge opening. I don't know about record. The Red Man, do you agree one of the big messages of the movie is gods don't exist? Poseidon's just the ocean. Athena is a symptom of Odysseus' PTSD. I agree. I think the removal of the gods in general was a big mistake. And yes, I think you are supposed to question whether the gods are real or not. I don't think it's supposed to be definitive in the same way that I don't think you're supposed to definitively know if Athena really is Athena or if it's his imagination of Athena because of the priestess that was killed. I think you're supposed to, I think it's supposed to be left up to you to decide that and think about that. But 100%, I think that's one of the things you're supposed to come out of here thinking. Supreme Lord for $1. Y'all, I find it funny. A lot of people are overpraising DEI Odyssey, rubbing in our faces because it's financially successful and are saying it's better than Lord of the Rings. There's a lot of people that are trying to do this as like a huge loss, like that's 100% something that is happening. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt that that's happening. But, I mean, it is what it is. Walmart drop is live, boys and girls. Hold on. We got to get in line for this stuff. We got to get in line. We got to get in line. Pokemon drops, which are very difficult right now. Which are insanely difficult right now. We're doing our best to get in line for these Pokemon drops. Hold my spot, please. Hold my spot, please. We'll see if this works. But anyway. Zombie box reviews. A movie doesn't have to be woke to be bad or mid. Oh, very true. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all in any way. There's plenty of bad movies that aren't woke. Plenty. High traffic is slowing this down. Yeah, no shit. Because all these motherfuckers want to get Pokemon, including me. So I understand. Bearded sports psych. For some reason, soccer's popular globally, even though it's gay. Same with Nolan's Odyssey. Plus, Jeremy's using Cobra Cast Super Chat to buy extra seats. Is that what he's saying? Is that what he's saying? That's pretty funny. Robert Hayes. If you find yourself in a fantasy world, what kind of character you'd be? A paladin, a rogue, a wizard? I think I would be a rogue. I think I would be a rogue. That sounds like me, doesn't it? Don't I sound like a rogue? I think so. Let's see. Mike Hill. Jimmy Kimmel made an insult at your Cubs saying the Pope had a choice to love a team that loses or a team that loses. Well, hey, we won a World Series more recently. And we always have people that, honestly, look, I'm not Catholic, but I, don't go out of my way to like insult the Pope for no reason. Fuck the Pope for being a White Sox fan. If you're Catholic, if that offends you, my bad, but I'm just saying. What does he think he's fucking doing? Who does he think he is? The Pope? Yeah, when we found out that the Pope was a White Sox fan, it was very disheartening for me. Not that I'm Catholic and not that it really matters, but still. What the fuck are we doing here? Robert Hayes, you could be the first nuclear wizard. I don't know if I want to be a wizard. Do I really want to be a wizard? I don't know. Let me make sure I'm caught up on all these plates. I think I got one more on Rumble. Supreme Lord, just because the movie's financially successful doesn't mean it's good. Captain Marvel, Lion King, James Gunn's Superman. Well, James Gunn's Superman was not financially successful. Force Awakens, Barbie, BVS, and The Last Jedi. Certainly a fair statement. But I also, just because somebody doesn't agree with you doesn't mean that everything's fake either. It pisses me off when the other side tries to do that and say that shit. And I feel the same way about like our side. Not everything has to be completely and totally fake and bullshit. Oh, they're buying tickets and this, it is what it is. But anyway, that is it for us, guys. How do I get into the Walmart drop? There might be links on Twitter, NetStealer. There might be links on Twitter right now. But if you go to Walmart and search Pokemon, you might find them. But there's going to be stuff on there that's not actually on good sale. That's not actually MSRP or retail. So, yeah. But they're manipulated reviews. They are, but this is not a new thing. People are acting like this just got discovered. We've known that it works this way for forever. And this real score, I don't think is real. Like, just because you remove, you're removing a fuck ton of people who actually did see it because I got a push notification, right? And yes, they 100% do things when movies get an influx of bad stuff. They put it on like patrol. They are desperately trying to protect movies. That's what Rotten Tomatoes, but that's the same for every fucking movie that comes out at the theaters, because Rotten Tomatoes is owned by Fandango, who wants people going to the theater. That's how they fucking survive as a company. So like, my issue is that people are acting like this is some big discovery where we've known this is how it works since 2019. And it's why now when something gets closer to like an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes audience score, we know that that's more like a 50% from what we used to experience. Like, that's my thing with it. People are pretending like this is just something that's happening now or something. No, this is how it's been since 2019. We've been talking about it for 7 years. You know, that's my issue. Core Tools for $100. Holy shit. Hi, Ryan. PTSD cuckdicious. Seems like a battered man in a toxic relationship has been gaslit, false guilted to forfeit his country and hard-earned throne. Not an example to follow. Also in Doomsday trailer, is that a Sentinel behind Cyclops? It might be a Sentinel behind Cyclops, but it's definitely a Sentinel behind Thor. So remember that thing that leaked out, that scene that leaked out? I'm pretty sure that that's a legit scene, you know? I'm pretty sure that's a legit scene. But thank you, Core Tools, for 100. Means I need to take a fucking drink. Woo. That's a good way to end the stream. And I agree. I don't like what they did with Odysseus. I don't like what they did with Odysseus at all. You forgot one, Ryan's the Supreme Lord. What did I forget? I read both of yours. I read both of those, Supreme Lord. Maybe you sent that right before I read the other one or something. But I did get yours. Thank you for the 100. I don't like this modern Odysseus. Red Man, nothing will touch the success of Obsession in a long time. Worldwide box office 442 million on an estimated 750,000 budget, 589 times its budget. Yeah, that's crazy. It has to be like put in perspective, right? Because Toy Story is going to outgrow Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy is going to make more money because Super Mario Galaxy was like $100 million budget. Toy Story is 250 million. So those things do matter, you know? Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness made $950 million, but didn't actually make money. So all that shit matters. All right, guys, that is going to be it for me. We've been going over 2 hours on the stream. And that's it. Tomorrow, I will be live 9 p.m. on RK Outpost Live for ripping packs, ripping a bunch of Pokemon cards, and also doing a Nefi Wars comic giveaway. So check that out. Definitely. What else? What else are we doing? I don't even know. I think that's it. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate y'all being here. And I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for the super chats, the likes, the shares, everything. You guys are fucking awesome. Bye, everybody.